So guys, again today we are going to talk about fund accounting. In the previous class, we spoke about the fund accounting. Again, the basic concepts only we discussed. So it covered the almost funds. I mean the fund accounting, why we have to invest, and what kind of investors will come into the investment pictures in the fund accounting, and also the benefits of investment fund and what exactly the role of fund house in terms of interacting with the investors and also the investments into the market. All these things we discussed, and also we have seen transactions between the fund and the market, and also investors and fund, and also we have given some namings. If the transactions are happening between the fund and market, those we call it as investment activities or portfolio activities. The transactions between investors and fund is called cap stock activities. So this is very important. As a cap stock activities, we have like a purchasing, subscription of a shares, a redemption, distribution of a shares or units, whatever we can call it as. So these activities we call it as cap stock activities. And also we started discussing about types of funds. So we spoke about open-ended funds and a closed-ended funds. What is the features of an open-ended fund, closed-ended fund? All these concepts we discussed in the previous class. Is everyone good with these concepts? Shall we proceed with the next type of funds? Hello.
Okay, Mahesh.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So yesterday we spoke about the types of funds based on the share distribution strategy or maybe the shares trading strategy. These are the types of funds like open-ended, closed-ended. So based on the regulatory classification, also we have a two classification. Regulatory classification. Normally, few funds are authorized and few funds are unauthorized. Both we have like authorized funds also will be there and unauthorized funds also will be there. Now we will see two authorized and unauthorized. Authorized shares, unauthorized funds. I mean, authorized funds or unauthorized. So, what exactly mean by authorized and unauthorized? Normally, as an authorized, most of the funds will be authorized only because authorized is nothing but how they have to sell the shares and what kind of investments they have to do. Suppose we as a fund house, if they're collecting money from the different investors, it doesn't mean that they can do whatever the investments they want. There will be investment policy. Investment policy means there will be strict guidelines and also some monitoring measures also will be given on the fund, like which kind of securities and which kind of securities and which kind of assets they can invest, how they have to invest. Everything will be given. The guidelines and also rules and regulations will be given on the investment policy, the investments of funds. So those kind of funds we call it as the authorized funds. So normally these authorized funds can be sold to the retail investors. Retail investors means normal people like who are able to invest in a small amount of shares, small amount of money if they want to invest in funds. Those we call it as retail investors because the authorization will be more on the retail investment funds only. Suppose if any lot of investors are coming from the like retail investors category, authorization is mandatory. You know why? Even mutual funds we have. Who will invest into the mutual funds? Middle class people. Majorly, the middle class people and low income group people will come and invest for the savings purpose, right? So why there will be a lot of authorization, a lot of regulators will be there in a mutual funds only? Because the money is coming from the retail investors. Retail investors means normal middle class people, normal public from the I mean normal public. So definitely as a government, they should implement some they should implement some regulatories. Regulatories nothing but some compliances, rules and regulations. If they don't put all these kind of regulations and all, what they will do as a fund house? They will take a lot of risk and they will invest in a lot of risky assets also. If they are going for a lot of risky assets, what will happen? Instead of getting a profits and gains, they will end up with the losses also. A lot of public will also come into losses, right? If the fund is getting a profit, profit will be distributed. If fund is getting loss, then investors will also suffer with losses. So in order to protect the investors, in order to protect these investors, there will be always some regulatory measures where the fund house need to comply with those things. On investments and the diversification of a portfolios, everything will be permitted. As per the permitted guidelines only, the permitted ranges only, they have to do the investments. That's the reason authorized funds will always be, the measure of major funding and major investments will be coming from the retail investors in the authorized. Okay. And there will be certain guidelines as well. In India, Europe, and American countries also, some regulatory system will be there where they have to regulate the authorized funds from end to end, like while issuing the units to the public, while the investment objective, policies, distribution policies, everything will be within the permitted ranges. That is called authorized fund. And we have an unauthorized fund. Unauthorized means it doesn't mean that we cannot invest into the unauthorized funds, or unauthorized funds are ineligible to participate in the public issue. Not like that. Unauthorized funds also perfectly legal. Perfectly, both are legal only. These are also legal funds only. But their marketing must be carried out to the certain rules. It's not something like everything will be there and they have to comply with a lot of regulators. There won't be such kind of things. Few regulators and few conditions will be there. They just have to carry out their business by following those conditions. In some cases, they will what do you say invest in risky assets also. They will invest in risky assets because the investors will come from different categories. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute, guys. I got a call. Sorry, guys. So yeah, so we're talking about unauthorized funds. So in these unauthorized funds, only few rules and regulations will be there. If they want to operate these unauthorized funds, they just have to comply with those subjective rules only. And also, in terms of accepting investors, some high net worth investors will also come and participate in this unauthorized funds. Most of the candidates are coming from the high net worth investors only. Definitely, as a high net worth investors, if they're coming into the investment as an investors, there would be chances to go for higher rate of returns. If they want to get a higher rate of returns, the fund also will prefer to invest in a risky assets so that they can get a huge profits. So that kind of regulations will be complied with the unauthorized. But both are legal. It's not something like unauthorized illegal, authorized legal. Both are legal only. But it depends on the type of regulations they are following and type of investors they're targeting. That is called unauthorized and authorized. Understood, everyone?
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes.
Okay. And we will talk about vehicles, investment vehicles. You know what is investment vehicle? For every investment, they will follow certain structure. Suppose if you want to form a company, we have different types of formation of company. I can form as a LLP, limited liability partnership. I can form as a private limited. I can form as a trust. I can form as a one-person company. These are all the forms of companies, right? Formation of companies. Similarly, when I'm launching a fund, the launching of fund can be done at different formations. Different legal to say formation will be there to form and to start the funds also. So we will talk about those formations. Those are nothing but investment vehicles. So we have like a company. As a company, investment company, we can start. And we have a unit trust. Unit trust. These are the two major investment vehicles we have. So what is this investment company? What is this unit trust? Company means it's a legal existence, guys. Separate legal existence will be there. Suppose we have a ABC company, ABC Limited. ABC Limited is a separate entity, separate legal existence will be there. Suppose if ABC company is making a profit, the profits will be distributed among the ABC investors and ABC shareholders only. Suppose ABC company is getting a losses. Again, the ABC shareholders, ABC investors only will have to bear the loss. So because they're operating under the separate legal existence, they will be having separate registration, the formation of an entity will be there, the PAN card will be there, everything will be separated. The assets, liabilities will be separated. That will be belonging to the ABC Limited. There won't be sharing of same assets with another company. There won't be like that. That will be a separate legal entity. There won't be subsidiary. There won't be branches. Nothing will be there. This is like a separate legal entity. That is called investment as a company. Whatever the assets we have in this ABC Limited, those are all the assets belonging to the ABC Limited only. And also they will be having independent custodian. You know what is custodian? What is custodian?
They are like a financial institution. They safeguard the securities and assets of the clients.
Yeah, very
Right?
good. Yes, yes, very good. So, who told this answer?
Lakshman.
Okay, okay, very good, Lakshman. So, custodian means the financial institution only. Normally, we have a banks, right? Retail banking. Similarly, for the investment companies also, there will be custodian where they will safeguard the assets, the entire assets, liabilities of all the clients will be handled and safeguarded by the financial institution. That's we call it as a custodian. For example, we have a SSB, State Street Bank, DNY, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. These are all the custodian services. We have Northern Trust. These are all the custodian banks, custodians. So they will be having separate custodian. But the ABC Limited also, they will be having separate custodian. Let's say, for example, we have an LIC. We have an LIC, right? In India. Similarly, in other countries, we have like a different insurance companies. Let's say Mass Mutual. Mass Mutual is another insurance company. It's a big insurance company in the US and Canada regions. So for this LIC and Mass Mutual also, they will be having separate custodians. So they will maintain their investments. Maintenance in the sense they will safeguard their investments. But there will be separate custodian for the ABC Limited only. That is called company investment as a company. As an investment company, they have to maintain the custodian. And if any investment company issuing the shares, I mean, they're selling the shares. Normally, we call it as shares only. We call it as shares. If they're providing the partnership or something as a stake in the company, that's we call it as share. In the first example itself, we discussed, right? How the shares will be issued in the primary market, secondary market. As a company, when they're issuing the part of ownership, part of stake into the public, that's we call it as shares. Similarly, here also as an investment company, if they're issuing the partnership stake, that we can call it as a shares. Everyone understanding?
Yes, Mahesh.
And also there will be board of directors. You know who are the board of directors? These board of directors will be elected by the shareholders. Every company will have shareholders, right? Suppose ABC company is having 100 shareholders. It's not possible for everyone to be a director of the company. So they will choose like 2-3 persons and they will elect as a board of directors. They will perform all the functions. They will function as the management of the company if they want to take a decisions. Again, of course, every shareholder will have a voting right and everything, but the initiative and the major investment decision, not only investment decision, the management decisions will be taken care by the board of directors. Board of directors will come up with an idea like what to do and where to do, how to do and all. Then the same idea need to be approved by the remaining shareholders in the meeting, board meeting. They will be having a voting rights. They can come and use the voting rights. But the management, who is the management? The board of directors. Like that, every company will have a board of directors. Board of directors again will be elected by the whom? Shareholders only. Shareholders only will elect the board of directors. Every company should have a board of directors. Even like if it is small LLP, there should be minimum two board of directors. If it is even a private limited, there should be two board of directors. For every directors, there will be direct identification number. Through that, we will elect and we will make him as a. They will make them as a directors, board of directors. They will act as a management. So these are the features of investment company. Now we will come back to the unit trust. Unit trust. Most of the funds will form as a unit trust. You know what is unit trust? This is just a part of a company. This is just part of a company. Suppose we have like one company, XYZ company, XYZ Limited. So what they will do? They will form one more trust. They will form one more trust as a ABC Fund Trust. ABC Fund Trust. But it is a trust which is launching by XYZ company. Everyone getting the point? This is a trust which is setting up by normal companies. So they do not have any separate legal entity. As a trust, they don't have separate legal entity. But there will be a trustee in the trust. You know what is trustee? You guys heard about this word trustee? Normally in temples, charity, we can use this word trustee.
Yes, yes.
Who is a
Yes,
trustee?
Trustilla is a
Sir,
committee,
yes,
I think.
sir.
Suppose there is a temple. For temple also there will be an assets, right? Temple assets. But it's all belonging to a lot of people. And as a temple, a lot of
Yes, sir.
donations will be coming, a lot of founders will be there. But there will be one person will be acting as a trustee. Who is the trustee? He will act as the legal owner of the asset. As a company, they will be having all the assets on a company name. But as a trust, they do not have any separate legal entity for the trust. But still, there should be a person who should act as a legal owner of the assets, right? If I have assets, I'll act as my own. I'll be the owner of my assets. If I have a company, MetaAspire, all the assets of MetaAspire is the owner. But what about the trust? Trust is not a company. They won't be having separate legal entity. It is established by some other organization again. So who will be the owner? Again, XYZ should not be the owner because these are the trust. Trust will be having separate assets. This XYZ Limited may have a different trust. They may have 10 trusts as well. For that reason, they will appoint one trustee. They will just appoint one trustee. So what this trustee will do? He will just act like a beneficial owner on behalf of the unit holders, on behalf of the owners of the trust. He will act as a trustee. Trustee is nothing but all the decisions on behalf of the remaining investor, remaining partners of the trust. He will take the decisions. He will act as a legal owner. But it is a fiduciary capacity. On trust, based on the trust only, he is acting. Again, he is not the sole owner of the entire asset. He cannot sell the assets. He cannot do anything. But he will act as a legal owner of the assets. This is a fiduciary capacity. You know what is a fiduciary capacity? Fiduciary is nothing but on a trust basis only. If all the trust members, maybe the trust members will be having 100 members, all 100 members should have a trust on this person. So we appoint it as a trustee. It's not possible for everyone to act as a owner of the trust, right? 100 members. If they want to purchase one asset, how they will purchase? If they are going to purchase one land, is it possible to 100 members to come to the register office and put signatures?
No, no.
No, right?
No, sir.
There should be one person who the entire 100% should trust that person. For that reason, we are appointing one person called trustee. So he will act on behalf of this 100 persons. Again, this trustee has been appointed by these all members only. All these members should trust and they should appoint the trustee. So they will act on behalf of the remaining persons. Getting the point?
Mahesh.
Yes, sir.
Again, here in this trust also there will be capital requirement, shares and everything. But if trust is giving any shares, that we can call it as a units, not a shares. If company is giving the part of stake, that's we call as a shares. But as a trust, if they are giving any part of ownership, part of stake in the company, part of stake in the trust, that's we call it the units. Everyone getting the point?
Yes,
Everyone
Mahesh.
understanding?
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes. Okay, yes. This is called trust. Now we will see the based on the structures. Based on structures. Give me a minute, guys.
Funds based on structure.
Okay, yes. We will see the different types of funds based on the structures. The first one is the standalone funds. Standalone funds. Normally, in case of mutual funds, we can see this kind of standalone funds. You know what is standalone? The fund itself will be standing as alone. Suppose there is a fund like this ABC fund. ABC fund. And ABC fund will collect some amount from investors, right? So let's write like this. Investors will contribute amount to the ABC fund. ABC fund directly will go and invest in shares directly. Shares, bonds, assets. Like this, they will go and invest directly into the securities. Again, they are not approaching anyone. Directly ABC fund itself going and investing into the market. They will choose one security types. They will invest over there. There will be diversification in the investments of these shares and bonds also. How much amount I need to invest into the shares? How much investment need to be done of bonds and other assets? All these decisions will be taken by the ABC fund only. As a standalone, all the investment decisions, the investment will be taken care by the fund itself. Each and every security investment will be determined by the ABC fund only. This is called stand-alone funds. What we call it as stand-alone funds.
Stand-alone fund.
Again, these ABC fund, by launching the fund, they will be given one prospectus. By launching the fund, normally in IPO we discussed, right? DRHP, RHP, draft red herring prospectus. What all it talks about?
Yes, sir.
What is it? It's all about
Yes,
legal document, right? We call it as a prospectus. Prospectus is nothing but an advertisement. So about their future, I mean the past financial background, what were into the from last few years, what were their achievements, who are the key mineral persons, and what will be the major sins in the coming future. Everything will be determined in the prospectus. An advertisement to attract the investors, they will provide an advertisement. That is, we call it as a prospectus. Here also, as a fund house, before we collecting money from the investors, we should clearly let them know that this is our fund objective and this is the investment policy and these kind of securities we are going to invest with our fund. Like that, everyone should determine clearly and we should inform it to the investors in a proper document. That's we call as a prospectus. Sorry. That's we called as prospectus. Here also prospectus, the meaning is same. Advertisement document, the legal document. It will be clearly mentioned the investment objectives, the investment policies, the structure of a fund, what kind of diversification they are going to follow in the investment. Everything will be determined. So once they have determined, like suppose on the prospectus they have mentioned like we are going to focus on bank nifty, bank stocks, and government bonds. Like that they have given. ABC fund has determined the prospectus in this way. They are going to invest into the bank nifty and government bonds only, which is going to be very less risky. In the bank nifty, we will invest 40%. In government bonds, we will invest 60%. Like that, they have given some information in the prospectus. So when ABC fund is going and investing into the bonds and stocks and everything, They have to follow this prospectus objective. I mean, investment objectives, whichever listed and outlined in the prospectus. The same investment objectives in the. Sorry, who is that? So while ABC fund investing on all these stocks and investments, they have to follow this prospectus. Prospectus is nothing but investment objectives policies will be given, right? As per this investment objectives only, they have to follow the investments into the securities. Everyone getting the point? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
There will be diversified portfolio. They're diversifying into the shares, stocks, bonds, and other categories of assets. And there will be daily valuation. Standalone always will be a daily valuation. Daily valuation also will be done. Every day there will be valuation. And most of the standalone funds are open-ended. Majority mutual, not only standalone funds, majority of the mutual funds will be valued on a daily basis. Mutual funds is meant for the daily NAV only. The valuation will be done on a daily basis. You know why we need to value this mutual funds on a daily basis? We'll talk about it. Don't worry. Okay. But just understand what is meant by standalone funds. Maybe still I think you are getting confusion. What is normal fund only? Every fund will do the same activities, right? The ABC fund is launching, they're collecting money from the investors and they're investing into the bonds and stocks. Then what else a new thing? Every fund will behave like this only, right? Then why we have different structures, standalone funds, umbrella funds? Why we need all these kind of different names? Is anyone getting a doubt? Hello? Is anyone getting that kind of doubts? Okay, let me explain in this way. Let's talk about another type of fund, then we'll get an idea. Now we'll talk about umbrella funds. Umbrella funds. You know what is the shape of umbrella? Okay. I'll take one example picture, then I'll try to explain it. I'll take this example to explain the umbrella fund. Yeah. Can you see this picture of umbrella fund? Just forget about fund service provider, all this management of assets, custodian, master fund. Forget about everything. Just observe the symbol, the umbrella symbol only here. Here we have an image, right? Umbrella image. Can everyone see this?
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Only try to observe this part only.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
We have a main fund. We have like a main fund. Again, take the same example. We have a ABC fund, which is the main fund. Okay. ABC fund having 100 crores capital, 100 crores cash they have. They have collected from the investors. Same concept again. They have collected money from the investors, 100 crores. They have ABC fund. In the previous example, in the standalone funds, how they're investing directly, they're investing into the shares, bonds, and assets directly, right?
Yes.
But in this umbrella funds, now what will happen? Again, they have a sub funds. What is the sub funds? We have like a one sub fund one. Here we have a sub fund two. Here they have sub fund two, three. You know what do you mean by sub? Sub is nothing but under that again there will be subordinate funds, small funds. Here we have 100 crores, right? So what they will do? In sub fund one, they will invest 30 crores. In sub fund three, they will invest 40 crores. And remaining 20
30.
crores,
30.
Remaining 30 crores will be invested in the sub fund three. Why they're investing on sub funds? What these sub funds will do? As the ABC fund, if they want to invest into directly into the stocks, Directly they're doing in taking strategies, investment decisions. If they're doing it, what they have to put some extra effort. Give me a minute, guys. I'm getting a call. Give me a minute. Click. Extremely sorry, guys. Okay, though some emergency work I have, so I cannot continue this session. Let me wrap it here itself. So again, tomorrow we'll continue the session. Okay.
Okay,
Let me
Mahesh.
stop the recording. Extremely sorry, guys.
Yes.